and it was
Mm,
and they got and I vacuum sealed them, and they got there in fine shape. The only thing that she said was they were a little bit dry. They tasted great, but a little bit dry. And I think it may be because of vacuum sealing them and freezing them to make sure that when they got there, they were in safe shape
mhm.
and no mold or nothing. So it may have been the freezing that dried them out because I had them in the freezer for oh 3 days or so to get them good and
That's
cold.
right.
Hmm.
But we're sending out. We got certain candies that we've been making that we're sending on out too. So we'll see how they make it there. Usually the coconut balls, the Oreo balls, and Buckeyes usually make it all right. They're hard. If you pack them, we'll use like bubble wrap to put it in around in like your candy tins or that are the tin or
Mhm.
the cheaper ones like you get at Dollar General. That's a plastic. We'll pack them good and send them that way. And usually, the majority of them make it that way. But like, uh, oh,
Those poor fucking drug sniffing dogs on the holidays, eh?
they gotta love it.
Oh, they'd be given like false signals all the time. I'd be like,
Oh, that
oh,
smells good.
there's some fucking drugs. It's just fucking Michael Walker's fudge.
I'll eat that.
Yeah. Oh well, it's open now. Nom, nom,
Well, we got to test it.
nom.
It may
Yeah.
have THC in it.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to Canada. Maybe it's edibles.
Yeah. Oh my god, I left a thing of
Maybe.
fudge one time on the kitchen table, and Grindel got it and ate it all overnight. We're talking like a couple pounds of fudge,
Yeah.
chocolate fudge at that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
But Grendel's big though.
Yeah, she's a big dog. She's fine. But I was
Yeah.
worried. I was like, oh shit,
No, it would have to be like lots of chocolate to kill her.
several pounds of fudge.
Yeah, but it was fudge, which is chocolatey, but it's not like two
I know.
pounds of fudge is 2 pounds of chocolate, right? Like how
Yeah.
much chocolate do you actually put in there?
3 cups of chocolate chips.
Right. Okay. So that's only 250. That's like melted down. That'd only be like maybe a pound,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, the rest of it was
250
butter
grams.
and
Yeah.
butter and the sweetened condensed milk.
Right. Yeah.
She ate
So
like, oh my
that's
god,
not.
she was fine.
Oh yeah. No, she would be. She's a big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd have to eat like if she ate like like I don't know a solid pound or two, then I'd worry. But I wouldn't worry about something like that. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good because they like chocolate though.
She ate it.
Yeah.
I don't see where she liked it. Oh, I left it too near the edge of the table.
Bad puppy.
Yeah.
Bad puppy.
well they do got doggy chocolates that they make out there.
Can you get
Yeah,
doggy
yeah.
cakes?
Oh, sure you can.
Oh, I'm sure your
You
dog would
can,
love that.
don't forget. Don't forget. That's the U.S. of A. You could marry your dog if you wanted
I don't know about that.
to.
There might
Well,
be.
you could have a wedding for your dog. Then.
Yeah. You can definitely have a wedding for your dog.
Oh,
Don't mean you're marrying it.
Yeah.
But there might be 1 or 2 states nowadays that's gone that far uh, to allow such craziness. But
Probably California.
that's the top one on
Oh
my
yeah, for
list.
100% California or Florida.
No, I don't think Florida is quite that loony.
Florida's loony in many other different ways. Like, if somebody were want to try to marry their dog, they'd probably live in Florida. But
Can you marry your drugs in Florida?
I'm sure there are people in Florida who want to.
I mean, New York State's pretty damn, especially the southern, or most of the southern part down around the city is pretty darn progressive, liberal, and accepting in so many ways that's scary. Even they haven't gone quite that far yet. Let me put the qualifier yet, because up in upstate New York, where I'm from, we just arrested a guy that was getting a little over friendly with a couple of his animals out in the barn.
Oh, that reminds me.
that
Just
happens
like last
everywhere.
year, Kentucky made sex with animals illegal. Except it didn't make sex with all animals illegal. It had a list of animals you could not have sex with. And general farm animals were not on the list. I was like, are you fucking shitting me? What is wrong with you people making these laws? Like, it's still legal, I suppose, to fuck a sheep here in the Kentucky, but you can't fuck your dog because that dog is on the list of things you cannot stick
Just
your
not
dick
with
in.
like a South Asian honey badger, right? Like they get,
Yeah,
it's funny,
yeah, I
they
mean,
get really specific, but yet they
Did
leave
you
the
have
common
to
animal.
list
Yeah,
what
the
kind of
dog,
animals?
dog,
Yeah.
cat, horse, cow, those are not on the list. Eh?
No, horse and cow were not on the list. Dog was on the list.
Okay.
See, and to me, it's when you devise laws that are that way,
I think
you
it's
immediately it immediately puts in your mind, why did you word it that way, and why didn't you just say it's illegal to have improper contact, period, in any shape, form, with any animal?
I
Well,
feel you. Why'd you have to specify?
Right.
Like, you know,
right?
no,
Like
man,
why
I
not
get
just
it,
leave it general and say no animals?
Yeah, well, that's my
I've
point.
I've always said, even personally, not TMI, but like no animals, no dead things, no kids.
Oh man,
Well, it's nice to have standards, I suppose.
No animals, no dead things, no kids.
well, I still say, oh wow,
It's still open to a lot of things.
Well, no, it's just that it's me and my closed mind, I guess, in that way. And I understand why Roland said it that way, but and I appreciate it. But to me, it's who would even think about dead things?
Fair enough. Do you even have to make that a law? Isn't that just like accepted?
But there again, from Roland's perspective, while he's saying that, he's qualifying stuff on out, is because if we think back in the last 10 years or so, there's been some people in the news that got caught doing exactly that.
I mean, like, and I'm not even talking a law. I'm just talking like standards, right? Like, you know, like I'm not fucking homophobic. I'm not anything. That's my standard, right? No animals, no dead things, no kids. Otherwise, I can fucking care less, right? And that's and I don't know. Laws are weird, man, because laws have to get so specific. When honestly, our whole judicial system, in my opinion, should just be fucking be decent to each other and use common sense, right?
Yeah, but common sense ain't common.
No, I know.
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah, totally, Michael. Be excellent to each other. Like what? Like why does there have to be anything fucking more? Because people are fucking give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They just if they have an opportunity, they will.
People suck.
People do suck.
People
What do you think? Like, what do you think my best friends are like a dog and a 2-year-old?
Because the 2-year-old hasn't learned to suck yet, and dogs are better people than people.
Yes, 100%, Michael.
Yeah, my dog is my best friend too.
See, my best friend is my alter ego.
That sounds charming.
Well, it can be. We have good coffee conversations, and there's very little disagreements, though there are heated debates. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just thinking, yeah, I'm kind of like that too. And I kind of think that maybe this group in particular, right? because I think that is kind of part of the personality, same personality that wants to like play a role playing game, right? Or the same person that likes to read books. And I'm talking fucking books, not PDFs or ebooks, right? I'm talking like there's a person that likes to read books, likes to use their imagination. That's the type of person that's going to get into D&D. That's the type of person that likes to contemplate. That's the type of person that I know I can trust, right? If someone makes a joke about reading or mentions reading a book as a joke, fucking don't trust that person.
Fuck that.
I like that as a wide eye. That's pretty cute.
But it's true though. If a person is like, reading books, or you read books, or something fucking weird like that, that's like, what kind of?
I'm not necessarily saying that your point is off point.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying it's just kind of funny. I never thought on that level about using something like that as a personality profiling tool.
It's a great fucking standard or bar. It is. Oh, it's so true, man. Like if a person hasn't fucking read a book, I don't even fucking want to be around you because I know that we're gonna have fucking nothing. Like we're not gonna be on the same wavelength at all, right?
There's an Anne Rice quote from one of her characters saying that if you show him a guy who's read one book, you show him a very dangerous enemy indeed. But if you show him a man who's read 1,000 books, you show him a valued friend.
Exactly. Like, like a book is the closest thing we're going to have to, is the closest thing we have to telepathy of reading someone else's thoughts. It's the only way to get into someone else's shoes. It's the only fucking way we have to learn how to fucking empathize with other human beings.
Well,
it's really
Hannibal Lecter might disagree with you on that. I think he thought the closest way to be able to empathize with them was one, eating their brain and covering himself in their bodily liquids.
Oh yeah, but he was like a sociopath too, though. Great.
Yes, he was.
Like,
actually, what you said about books made me think of something. I can't remember where I read it, but someone said that reading books is a bit of a weird experience. You're looking at mashed pieces of tree, looking at squiggly ink marks on it, and hallucinating vividly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they are literally a gateway to other realities. Like it's literal. Because if you're a reader, and I'm talking sight reading, audiobooks, it took me a long time to develop the same reading ability with audiobooks when I went blind, because I used to read a lot, right? And switching to audiobooks was different. Like it's different. It's taken me a long time to use that same part of my brain. But
I think
exactly, Michael. It's almost, I almost have to meditate.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about reading here, I am talking about sight reading, words on. But when you're like, and I've explained this to people. I love reading so much. I've gotten people to read, and I often tell people that like when you're reading, you're not just, your eyes aren't looking at these black marks and looking at these letters and going, okay, that's a B, and that next one is an R, and then that's a lowercase a and an I, and that's an N. Now is that Brian or brain? Well, no, BRAI. Okay, that's brain, right? And then go on to the next word, right? You're not doing that. It's like fucking when your eyes hit that beginning of that sentence, it's like fucking dropping a needle on a record. Your vision just falls into that groove, and then the sentences just roll on by, and the pictures play in your mind. Right?
That reminds me, in case I haven't mentioned it, I got a record player recently.
Oh, good.
I've become a complete hipster doofus.
Good, good, good.
For Christmas, I will be opening up, because, you know, I'm a grown-ass man, so if I want something for Christmas, I get it. And so I'll be opening up Dark Side of the Moon, Sgt. Pepper's, and Pearl Jam's 10 on vinyl.
Okay. Good. Good,
Yeah.
good, 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 good. I bought a turntable about 8-10 years ago, and I already had the record. Like, I still had the records. I just no
Oh.
longer had a turntable for years, right? But I kept my records. So just, I don't know, turntable eventually broke. I'm like, oh well, whatever. You know, you kind of transition to cassettes anyways, and then CDs, and you know, turntable just got lost, right? Like, you just whatever, it's gone, right? And then several years ago, I bought one. I bought just a cheap one, but it's a USB as well. But the thing I like about new turntables is that they aren't phono. You remember what I'm talking about? Because old turntables, they used to have an amplifier.
Yeah.
So you would plug it into the phono. There's always a phono, and then later on we got into inputs and then auxiliary, right?
Yeah.
Well, and now a lot of them are line in, right? You plug in your MP3 player, you plug in your phone, right? They're line in. That's all. Like, it's basically like a headphone, but opposite almost. This turntable, I can go phono, line in, or USB.
Okay. And all that is just the really just the levels that they're using.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very convenient because you don't need an like, try to find an amp now with a phono, right? Like, you're gonna pay a lot for a receiver with a phono because it's gonna be some boutique thing, or it'll be like a vintage one or something like that. But no, so it's just a cheap turntable, but it works really good. It works better than any turntable I've ever had. And it's just like a fucking cheap. I think the thing is cheapo is it's a plastic housing.
Yeah.
Where everything used to be heavy and used to be, you know, like cast metal on whatever. But anyways, but that's how reading is. Do you guys agree?
Huh?
Your vision falls on the sentence. It's just, then the pictures just play in your mind, right?
A little bit, except I have
Like,
difficulty focusing, and so it does take a little bit for me to read. Like you were mentioning earlier, like BR.
yeah.
I do have to sit there and like, what's that word? What's that letter?
Oh, right. But
yeah,
you see,
for me,
you are the exception.
I used to be like that when I could read easily, and when my vision was, well, it's never good, but better.
Mm-hmm.
Better. I could.
The last
exactly but now it takes me fucking forever to read, because I'm like,
yeah,
I'm literally sitting there trying to decipher and translate what each thing is.
yeah. The last book I sight read was I actually went back because, like, whatever, it was like 90 whatever when I became too blind to read or whatever, which was basically my judge of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the last book I sight read, my vision was very blotchy. But the last book I read, I actually went back to the beginning and I read the first Forgotten Realms novel.
Which one is that?
The one that all takes place on the Moonshae Isles, the Moonshae trilogy.
Okay. I hadn't read that.
It was the first Forgotten Realms book, because when Forgotten Realms came out, it was going to be all on the Moonshaes. It was going to be kind of like Great Britain, like the British Isles. It was going to be just like that.
Yes.
The Moonshae, yeah. And
I like the Moonshaes.
but they moved it onto the mainland for the main setting. But yeah, I don't know, because it does have a different culture. And anyways, the moon chase, they have like a lot of like kind of very European folklore. Like it's very unicorn and druidic moon wells and standing stones, that type of weird stuff. But it is a cool place. And these are some of the things that you guys have talked about on your voyage. See how I did that? With the crew of this vessel.
Where did we, talking about our voyage, what did we finally end up deciding?
Well,
Sleep.
you guys are at the point where you guys pulled in to Port Last into the fog, only to discover that there was a giant great ship that had not scuttled, but had come to a stop on the bottom of the bay here, where the cliffs on the mainland finally dipped down to a sandy shore. But you guys can't even see all that because of the mist. But there's like this big ship is run aground on top of some wrecks. Nicodemus went on board, and there was a couple of winter wolves. You guys killed one. The other one called for an alert, and it's currently sleeping. Is it sleeping or dead? It's sleeping. And you guys could hear that approaching from the mainland. You can hear giants, like you could hear like even like the splashing of their massive bodies through the water as like some of them are already off the shore and are wading towards the ship to climb aboard to see what the trouble is. And that's pretty much where we're at. I think, okay, there is a whole whackload of pixies, and some of you can fly.
I can fly.
I think you, Silent,
Yep,
and Garl are the ones who have fly currently on them.
And Cloud can fly.
And Cloud can fly. Wolf is asleep on the deck. Giants are coming.
Fuck it, let's peace out.
Okay, you could fly. They just pull the gangplank and anything, and they just start rowing out. And rowing out.
And then I polymorph myself into a giant megalodon.
Whoa.
and like Sharknado. I'm just fucking with you. This is peace out. Just joking. Just joking. I don't do that at all. But if they like start to catch up to us, I was looking at the monster manual. I could polymorph myself into a humpback whale, which is huge, and swims at 60 feet. And so I could like grab the anchor of our boat and just like pull us along. Swim at 60 is pretty fucking fast, all right? And a humpback whale is huge. I could pull it. I could pull the boat. It's huge. If need be.
I'm gonna look because these guys start to like they all man the oars. I'm trying to find my stats here. I'm gonna.
Garl with his short bow from up on top of the mast be
Mhm.
covering our retreat if required. But
Okay, I'm just going
he's
to.
up there looking and seeing if they're starting to come after us, and if they are, he as long as they stay within his range, will try to once in a while take a tactical and strategical shot at them, just enough to possibly encourage them to follow us.
Okay. 16 benches. The oars on this thing are like 15 feet long, and they all sit down to take an oar. That's fast. Fuck. Totally. What the heck? I just want the fucking speed of it.
Of what? The ship?
Yeah. Like, they're fast. It's 5 miles per hour, 120 miles a day. But where is the speed, though?
5 miles an hour. Well, let's just use our math skills here. That's 12.
But it does have, like, an actual speed, though.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. The speed is 100.
You're fucking shitting me.
No. Like, yeah, I knew it was fast. Yeah, the speed's a... No, they have all their oars, so the speed is 100 minus 5 feet for every oar damaged. So they just pull off the grappling hooks. Everyone takes a bench, and they just poof, 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 poof,
Oh,
like,
okay. That's our speed. That's not the speed of the the.
No. That's of your guys' ship. Your guys' long ship
Okay.
is 100.
Well, I suppose
So-
technically, if the speed is 60, I could dash and go 120. Of course, if we're dealing with the actions of the ship, it could dash too and go 200, right? So never mind. Shut the fuck up. Shutting up.
That's all right. No, that's all right because I had to like.
Then how fast is a giant ship?
I don't know, but the thing is they're gonna come to the deck. They might hear you guys, and the thing is, by the time they, because this is what would happen, you guys start going, and you guys can hear the giants. And Michael, you speak giant, like over like the whoosh 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 of the oars of you guys, and like even like the thump 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 of the drum, and I almost want to go back to that because it said something about like what the ship could do. Let's just assume 100 feet, okay? Let's just assume 100 feet. The vision range is only 60. So their ship, as you know, inversely your ship will be out of view like quickly before they even see you guys because they have to like there is still like a round or two left. they would come aboard, and Michael, you can hear them when they're like, "What's going on?" And they're kind of talking and stuff, and then you can hear like another one come up behind and basically, "Hey Joe, what's going on?" And there's like a dead wolf and a sleeping wolf. You can hear they kick the wolf awake.
No.
But that's all not. That's going to be like what, 2 rounds, 3 rounds? You guys are like booking it. You guys might get some rocks thrown at you, but they can't see. They have disadvantage at best.
I will taunt them. And giant, you sons of a motherless goat. I bet your mother was an ogre.
And-
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
if like honest to God, like round to round, like you guys will be like a mile away before, and even like the whole crew is there, and you know, they can even
you'll
do
never
anything
catch
about
me
it.
fast as fast can be.
Darrell will take his staff and use one charge off of it and have a loud turkey gobble sent back on out as trying to capture their attention.
Not a bad turkey gobble.
No, not bad.
Who did that?
That was Rolly.
Huh.
Do you know what? I've been getting that a lot lately.
Turkeys?
No, where people are like, "Oh, that's a good impression of whatever." I've been getting that like
Huh?
a lot lately. But I did it always as a kid. I just think it's because now I have a 2-year-old. I'm doing it again. I'm getting back into. I'm getting less rusty, right? Knocking the rust off. Fucking grade 4 Easter bonnet parade talent show. I did animal impressions. I had the whole place in my hand, like palm my hand. To this day, I still run into a woman who is in a grade younger than me. She always gets me to do the elephant.
Oh, that's pretty fucking good.
You missed your calling.
Oh, I know, but there's no jobs for. But there's probably more jobs doing voiceover stuff now than there was 30 years ago. So you guys are, and you guys get like fast, like you guys are booking it.
Yeah.
You are gonna lose them.
Yeah. Hopefully they follow us a little bit though. So I'll taunt them until they're out of earshot.
Because we're trying to our intent is to try to draw them away from the village that they just pillaged and plundered.
Okay.
Maybe you can convince somebody to try to.
Okay. Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out exactly. Okay. Yeah, it would make sense because if you want to draw them out, if you say to the captain you want to draw them out, he's also for safety concerns. Oh, who wants to roll me? Because Port Last, if you guys remember coming in, there are a lot of wrecks underneath.
Yep, you did say that.
You did. What do we roll?
Who wants to roll? And he can roll with advantage even. But I want someone to me a basically like a navigation for the captain.
Okay.
But you could roll with advantage. Okay? And I want you to have a +4 to the roll. Who wants to roll?
Alex or Silence? I
Well, I
say.
haven't got my dice ready, so Alex, please.
You don't have your dice ready?
No.
Oh my God, we got to send you the D&D Anonymous then.
Yeah, you haven't
Oh.
quite got the bug yet, because if you because you have to have your dice out arranged in whatever pattern is most satisfying to you, right? There's always like
The feng shui of dice.
there's always a person always has their way of putting the dice out. Always.
Yeah.
I like putting mine in a tower.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. The ritualistic laying out of the dice, and they wonder why everyone thought it was a cult. Everyone's making runes. Anyways, so silence or cloud. I want you guys to roll basically a navigation for the captain, but I'll give it to you for advantage, or I'll give you advantage because he does. But because like you guys are going like full speed, because it's foggy, because there are a lot of wrecks, I'm gonna make the DC like 20.
Sounds like a job for silence.
For me? Okay, I got my dice now.
Roll a
It
die
sounds like a
20.
job for Ryan, but
A die 20.
Roll it twice. Take the highest and add
Okay.
a 4.
I got 17 as the highest.
Now add 4
4.
is 21.
Yep. 21.
You guys are able to zip out without scuttling, without damaging the ship, without anything. And he does that by simply going straight west, the shortest route out, right? So he's in the fog the least amount of time. And the fog does really hug the shoreline, like is hugging the land. It gets thinner as he goes out. So you get out. You guys can hear like you guys get about another 300 feet out, clear open water. You guys begin to like slowly turn south, just angling south. Full paddles, just full paddles. Like, they're not taking time to put up the sails or anything. They're just going full speed. After you get about 300 feet out, Michael, you can hear, it's kind of, several hundred feet away now, like 400, 500 feet away. Well, actually, 700 feet away. When you get there, you can hear, because they are giants, you can hear the booming voices, and you can hear the clatter and rattle of giant-sized oars, wooden oars hitting the wooden gunwale and wooden decks, and you can assume that they begin
Man.
like taking position into their seats.
Okay, so they're leaving.
Yeah.
Is what I can get out of it. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. They're leaving the area.
Okay.
I'll taunt them the second time.
This is kind of the time. This is kind of the timeline. Is that like when the winter wolf howled the alert? In 5 rounds, half of them appear, come to the ship. 5 rounds after that, the rest of them come. So a minute after the wolf.
That's pretty quick if you think about it.
Yeesh, yeah.
But that's 10 rounds. And you guys would have been like, it was like what, 8? Like it was what, 2 rounds after the wolf called, you guys left, or 3 rounds? something like that. So it was like 700-800 feet away you guys would be when they're all at the ship. Oh, 700-800 feet. And it would take them around to kind of figure out what's going on 1,000 feet. And I don't know. I gotta go look at their speed.
And Michael robbed him too.
Yeah.
Pardon me? Pardon me?
Michael was robbing him too.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. But it still didn't take that long, right? It was still like the wolf went to sleep. He finished opening that chest.
Grabbed some shit and left.
Yeah. Because the giants weren't quite at the ship yet. In my head. There was still like a round, like the next round was basically when they were going to be climbing onto the ship. And then they had to make
what they find when they get on the ship, you know?
Yeah.
They find
Well,
a dead wolf,
they'll
a
eventually
sleeping wolf,
notice
a
that
rod.
too, yeah. But I think the obvious thing would be like the 2 wolves on the ground, 1 dead. Okay. Okay, this is. Okay. I never even thought that it would come down to a chase. You guys would want to have a chase with them. Damn players.
Oh dear.
Well, we want him to live.
Oh no, that's fine. It just you guys gotta wait while I. You guys are very brave.
By fleeing, we fled bravely. Sir Robin ran away.
Well,
Brave Robin.
I look at it that we're going ahead and offering up ourselves to save the city from any further pillaging and plundering, and have them come after us since we're taunting them, begging them to come take a mightier foe. Because
See, it would be easier. That's the thing. See, it'd be way easier if I could see, man. Okay. Okay.
yes, we will holler from time to time. We are the giant slayers of the north.
They look like when they finally break out of the fog, they're about 1,000 feet behind you.
Have you heard of Truthy? Because I'm the one who killed her. And your
That's gonna
dog.
chase us one day.
And you guys can see that, like, even from this distance, again, because they're giants, they just look like normal-sized people, really close up, right? That there's, like, a full complement, like, it looks like all the rows, like, basically, I'm trying to say there's 20 giants in the ship, and they look a little bit faster over time. Garl, you can see they are indeed slowly catching up. You guys are 5 miles an hour. They're 6 miles an hour.
Okay, Garl will holler down. Our prey is almost upon us. We will have future glory and this little rock dark gnome will be dancing about the mast up there on the in glee with the aspect of this.
Okay, the captain, like once like he, the word goes that they are slowly catching up. He says he gives some orders, and you hear this, Michael.
Yeah.
Ready the mangonel. And some people,
Do
some
that.
men at the front of the deck go to the front of the deck, and you can see where there is stuff tarped up, and you thought it was like maybe just some cargo tarped up there, and they untarp it, and you can see mechanism, a type of catapult, but it's mounted to like basically the keel beam, because basically it's below the gunnels. Like you wouldn't even notice it if you're looking at the ship from the outside. It's low to the ground. It basically looks like it launches an object almost straight up, like a mortar, up, over, and straight down. It's called a mangonel. It's in the DM's guide if anyone is curious.
Okay.
But you can see like that these guys are like, they uncover it, and you can see that there is like a pile of like shaped rocks near there too. They at least have a few shots. I'm not exactly sure how many, but and once they get it opened up, the one guy, he asks the captain, he's like, should we load it? And the captain nods, and you can see that like two guys begin loading it while the other two are kind of like lining it up. That there's like basically 5 guys to run a mangonel. If someone wants to help with the firing of the mangonel, let me know if you want to be one of those 5.
Sure. I've often said I'd like to learn how to use their ballista and catapults. It can't be that much different.
Okay. No, if you want to, go for it. You can be on the mangonel. Well, come here, she says.
All right. What am I doing?
And you have like how like pirates wear bandanas? She's wearing hers more like a kerchief to keep the wind out of her ears.
Uh-huh.
And she's an older lady, and she's very, very like weather beaten skin, like very weather beaten. And she says, "What you need to do here?" She says, "You gotta wind it back and load it here. You gotta put the tension on it. You place one of the shot here." She says, "You can use almost anything you want for shot." She says, "You want to fire oil or embers?
How about a gnome?
Carcasses?" It would haul a gnome. He'd fly. It might kill him in the process, but she says, she says, they're originally meant for siege weapons to get over the walls of castles, but they work great for flying up in the air and punching straight through the bottom of the boats there. DM's guide, it takes 2 action, like, let's put it this way, a ballista, it takes 1 action to load a ballista, 1 action to aim a ballista, 1 action to fire a ballista.
So 3 people for 1 round.
Essentially. That's the most efficient way. A mangonel, 2 people to load, 2 people to aim, 1 to fire. So you need 5 people to spend an action to do it every round.
Uh-huh.
Which makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is, it's in the DM's guide. It's in the, if anyone wants to look, but it's pretty cool. Because, exactly. Flies straight up, comes straight down, and poof, punches through. And she says to you, and we still got some range. She says almost 500 feet, but if they get to about 100, 120, she says, then we got a good chance of hitting them. But anyways, so she'll keep showing you like how they have to crank it back, and that's why two to load it, right? One's cranking it back while one's moving the shot, or two are cranking it back while two are putting the shot, and then it's like, and then the other one, and then they all have to kind of move it and shift it, and the main dude can pull the lever, and they'll even because the giants are still a ways away, but just she says, well, we'll give her a test shot just to let you know what it feels like, and she gives like orders, and you see how they like load it, aim it. There's nothing to aim it at, but they'll put it in direct line of the giants. So they're going to shoot it right over their own fucking mast and over Garl and over the stern and leave it in their wake. And just to let you do it, if you want to take a shot with it, roll me a d20 plus 6. It uses the siege weapons attack base.
Carl, with seeing that going, he's going to say, whoa, watch it there. You got a tall fella here.
That would be a 23.
Oh, it shoots out like 480 feet. Is
That's
like its maximum range, I think. And you could see where the rock. And then the captain kind of yells, like, basically, don't waste the ammunition in case we need it. And she doesn't look bothered by it at all. So he snapped on her. She just...
how effective will this thing be against that ship? Will it slow it down any?
Well, hopefully we can punch a hole through it, but I think we can.
I let him to the left.
Okay.
Down.
Garl, it was quite a look to just have this like rock the size of you just come fly, like you almost, you see it go up and over in its arc, and how it starts to slow at the top of its arc, and it goes behind and then comes swiftly down and plunges into the water. And you can see that the giants are just and they're slowly but surely catching up.
And how far are they from us, as far as from what Garl's perception would give them?
You guys, I'm not good at like
just the
how do I do the
swag.
calculus?
No, just the swag, because that's all Garl would be able to do from his vantage point with the fog and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just that Garl wants to try to keep that presence of mind of threat and prey, predator and prey type of thing, how far away they are, so we can be readying ourselves for when the time comes when we need to be. Making himself useful on like on a crow's nest type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I do kind of quick common sense math logic,
that works.
Okay. If you go 5 miles and they go 6 miles an hour, they would catch you, get close enough in range in probably about 45 minutes. Right? It would probably be like kind of 4.5 miles out, would be my guess, is where they get within a good D&D distance, 600 feet.
All right, and Garl will be giving those ranges when he's able to, between sight through the fog and such.
I'm thinking about maybe doing the whole megalodon thing, except just going underwater and just attacking their rudder as it's underwater, and just maybe breaking apart so they can't steer or something. Just like grab it onto it, just like breaking the rudder underneath the water, not surfacing, not nothing. Just where it's big giant 30-foot shark come up, grab it, and because it's wood, right? It's wood. I'll run that by the captain, see what they think.
He
What do
says,
you
well,
think
it would
make
certainly
like a 30-foot
it
long
would-
be able to
well,
rip off.
he says, well, you would certainly inhibit, but not prevent their steering, because they could still use the oars to steer to an extent.
But it would slow them down.
And Michael, I don't know, you just remember how, like, even walking on the deck of that thing, it was almost like walking on stone. Like, it keep trying to, like, it was so
old and frozen.
Yeah, like it's petrified in ice. Like it's just I have to say again, AC 15, damage threshold of 20. Hit points 3,000.
Well, I'm not going to try to wreck the whole ship. I just want to damage the rudder.
No, but I'm just trying to think, like, that's a giant. Oh man, it would be. I can't even imagine the DC that would be. It would honestly be like a 30 DC, damn close, 25 anyways. Maybe you would have to do something ingenious.
To damage that ship. All right, I'm calling in a tactical strike.
What do you mean?
Sorry, an orbital strike. Call in an orbital strike. A nuke it from orbit type thing. Yeah, never mind.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't even have freaking fog cloud.
I'm doing the Disney Plus retrial, and I'm going to just binge watch Star Wars everything this week.
Okay.
I have fog cloud.
Nice.
Hey, that would pop up some cover for us, and maybe they'll lose us.
You see that you guys are going, like, basically straight west? Like, straight west. You guys have actually, like, no, that's not true. You guys can see the coastline, but it's getting far away. The waves are getting I don't know the word. More bigger up and down. They're not violent. It's just the motion of the sea is more
Waves.
Turbulent, larger caps.
Starting to
like
swell.
Yeah, swells. That's exactly, like, larger swells. And the captain's always giving orders here and there. How, most of them don't make sense. They're all nautical terms, but everybody seems to be responding or doing their part. People are even have been, like, doing somewhat of a relay, right? Like, they'll take over for those who are retiring, and so on. if people were by any chance resting, because some of the crew does rest during the day because they take over, just people grab rest whenever they can. So everybody is wide awake. You guys are basically on like red alert, especially now that they're out to about 500 feet. Just slowly catching up. Just slowly catching up. Over time. I'm not going to do all the math. But they are gradually catching up. Their speed is slightly more.
And Garl will be keeping the rest of the crew informed on as they get closer. He'll break it on down into, we'll say, every 20 yards.
Bring it on down to Bargainville. Sorry.
Yeah, because if that's 6 miles an hour compared to your 5 miles an hour, that's 20% faster than you guys. Your speed is 100. Their speed is 120.
Would it help if I pulled a little bit? Say the giant megalodon came and pulled us off of it. Would that help?
Well, the captain says, what's your intention? Do you want to just lose them?
Sure. Lose them, outrun them.
He says, they'd eventually catch up to us. We could outrun them a short time, but he says, if you want to lose them, he nods, he says, I can lose them. And he holds up a finger. Once.
You a man, Cat?
Does Garl notice and hear this?
On the mast, roll your perception. You probably got a good enough perception. Actually, what's your passive?
18.
Oh yeah, you would have noticed that Nicodemus is having a conversation with the captain. I don't know if you would hear it from 40 feet up with the wind in your ears and whatnot. But you see he holds up his finger. And
as soon as he holds up his finger, Garl will say, oh shit, in his head. And he is going to look for a piece of rope out of his pack and tie to his center and tie it fairly, somewhat tightly with about 2.5 foot of play to the mast. So
you loop this rope. You pull this rope around your waist. You quickly just loop it around you. Loop the whole coil around you, and make like a quick knot. And you just turn and you kind of hug the mast to pass the rope around, and you you're right near that weird pennant.
Okay.
That looks friendly to whoever looks at it. You're just tied on right below that pennant. You've got about a yard slack, and you got the rope tied to the mast. You quickly adjust the rope around your waist to make sure that's more securely tied. And the captain just says to you, Nicodemus, down below on deck of the level, he says, well, just say when. If you want to lose them, he says, there's no point in me tiring my men out. He says, we're far enough away from Port Last. Hopefully they won't go back.
Sure.
He nods. And he says, shouts a couple orders. The bosun comes running over. And you see the woman that was running the mangle. She stands up and everybody just kind of stops what they're doing. They're oh, okay, everyone and they just stop rowing and everyone hauls in their oars. The boat slowly just glides. And you could see that
that means
people a lot of people turn stand and take a look at the ship pursuing you. Like, not often you get to see a longship full of giants. The captain calls over the bosun. The bosun comes over, and he says something in order to the bosun in kind of like a lower tone. You don't really hear what they say over all the noise and the raucous. And the bosun pulls out the bosun whistle and does, how they do like the kind of, and right, all the bosun whistle stuff. Does like a little silence. There's a little. You recognize that there's a little bit of magic in something that happens when that whistle is blown this time. You've heard that whistle been blowing the whole time. Nothing's ever happened. But it was like, it wasn't just a bosun call. It was like a little bit melodic, a little bit rhythmic.
Like in The Legend of Zelda, is it the whistle there and then suddenly a tornado is going to swoop by and pick us up and take us to one of the other 9 dungeons? Did anybody else play Legend of Zelda but me?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
And
No,
Garl, you hear the bosun whistle from down below?
All right.
Flash. And everyone feels the flash as much as they see the flash. The flash causes you to start, but it doesn't end up blinding your vision or nothing. And you guys appear, and you can see coast. No giant. You guys are back to near the coastline. In fact, you guys are near
Not complaining, but a bit of an explanation would be nice.
He points to the pennant. He says, that pennant, we're 3 miles away from our original position. But we're on course to keep heading south, and if they really want to look for us, it'll take them some time, and by that time, we'll be well on our way. Yeah. He says the pennant, not only does it look friendly to whoever views it, but once a week, it'll teleport the entire vessel 3 miles.
Oh, snap. Never seen that one.
Just FYI, the horizon on the ocean is 17 miles away.
I was thinking it's looking pretty weird to the giants.
It's in D&D rules they say 10 miles.
And from a crow's nest, it'd be even higher.
Yeah. Well, they say 10
Always
miles. They say 10 miles. I've looked in I did a lot of reading on it, and it's very, very basic. They didn't get into the second edition complexity or advanced edition complexity. They just said 10 miles. And I know, I've thought, well, that's not a good estimate, but oh well.
Yeah, and it also,
But that is a good thing about being. But that is okay. Well, here.
I cast Fog Cloud.
Okay. Perfect. Because it is still foggy in areas. So, to hide in a bank of magically created cloud,
can
the
even
captain just
supplement that with a pass without trace, 30-foot radius or something like that, which would pretty much cover most of the ship.
most of it. But the captain says, "We'll wait here, see what they do." And they have a terrible perception. Because basically you guys are hiding. Right? That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, running, yeah. Run, hide, sleuth.
Put on a disguise. Yeah.
Don't want to take on a ship full of frost giants.
Nope.
We're wussing out.
Garl will
Come on,
be
it's a
up on
pirate
the
thing to do.
Okay.
Garl will be up on the mast since he's tied on up there somewhat, dancing around and making obscene gestures to the giant, saying, "We beat you," all this other stuff, whether or not they hear him or not. But that's what
Okay.
he's doing. He's relishing in playing this as a victory for them.
And I'll yell up to him, "Don't tempt fate! You're gonna fall!"
I thought, well, this is essentially a stealth against a perception. So I rolled 2 d20s, and the
Okay.
stealth was a 16, and the perception was a 5.
Whew.
So you guys they see you go over a swell, right? They lose sight of you temporarily over a swell when you guys teleport away back to the coastline. And they don't see you teleport there, and maybe they just keep thinking you're over the next swell. But after time, after rounds, after minutes, after old school turns, eventually they're out of sight.
All right.
You guys are south of Port Last. You could either turn around and go back to Port Last if you want, but you guys didn't really have business there other than to see if you could just whatever. But the town has the captain says, "Your call."
Well, we could go back to the town and tell them how we bravely lured the giants away from attacking their city and celebrate.
But would we be able to prove that to them? They might be a bit skeptical.
There's no giants.
I suppose so, yeah.
Proof. Or we could just be on our way. I mean, I like a good party.
Oh, we know that.
But at the same time, I prefer to get, what's his name? Far enough away from the frost giants as
Serac, yeah.
possible.
Yeah. I think he's
Serac.
feeling a bit nervous at the moment. We keep bumping into frost giants.
You can see he's like still kind of fetal position in the stern of the boat. He just clutching his head.
Do we need to make port for any reason? What's here?
Oh, I also have you guys can see actually like where Serac is, you could actually see the other NPC, Warvel, the dwarf with a mad gleam in his eye.
You mean the fun gleam in his eye?
He's over actually like, well, basically convincing Serac that like, no, the giants are gone. Like you can come out. It's been like 15 minutes. Like they're gone. Like, and which reminds you, you guys were originally planning on stopping at Neverwinter, which is coming up, I think, in a day or two. And then it's like about a 4-day stretch to Watermeet. Or to Waterdeep.
Neverwinter?
Pardon me?
The Wizard in Neverwinter? For some reason, we were going to
Everland.
go see a Wizard in
Everland.
Everland?
The only reason, I was going to say, the only reason you guys are going to Neverwinter, the only reason is, you guys remember back up in Bryn Shander, the guy that Carl was, Sir Barrack?
Yeah.
That he was like, that he had only asked you guys to like stop at Neverwinter to just say that he still hasn't had any luck in finding the Weevil. That was it. You guys were supposed to stop at like
oh yeah, we need to stop there. We got some we got some messages.
It was only
that dude back in Bryn Shander has still not been able to find the Weevil. Have a good day.
And have the weasel with us.
Yeah.
When we say that.
Yeah,
that wouldn't
was
be a
like,
good idea.
It'd be a fun idea.
It is a fun idea. Like, no,
We have to disguise him.
know that this guy has not seen the Weevil. Well, you need to have the Weevil come in and tell him. Just FYI, I got news from you from this dude up in Bryn Shander. He can't find the Weevil. Have a good day.
yeah, it's like Order of the Gauntlet. He gave you like a connection for like another Order of the Gauntlet member, and it's like, oh, basically just tell my higher ups I still haven't had any luck. That was pretty much it. And you guys have him with you now.
Yeah. Like, I thought the Wizard. Some dude told
No,
us.
he is in Everland.
Oh, the
and
Wizard.
I'm not precisely sure where Everland is. I think it's closer to Waterdeep. Might even be east of Waterdeep. I'm not 100% sure where Everland is.
You know, I would Google it, but I'm just letting you know my Googling is not very good with D&D maps. Like, I can be like, where the fuck is Waterdeep? And my Google's like,
yeah, I know the Google. I know. Well, I don't know if that. I don't even think that's Google's fault. It's just there isn't good map resources on, or explanations of things. There isn't. There's almost everything else, but not geographically speaking.
It's Everlund. Everlund.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it might be London,
my God.
I think.
It is southeast of Silvery Moon, and situated on the north bank of the river.
Oh, that's
Rauvin. Everland was the second largest city in the Silver Marshes and one of the most active mercantile communities. And there's a map of it too. There's a map to it too. Wow.
Proved you wrong.
Yeah, apparently I just Googled where's Everland and they're like, oh, there it is. Holy shit.
Now, can you put that in my TomTom?
I don't know, but somehow that doesn't sound like something I would want to do.
Or
No, washing my hands
my
after.
GPS and my GPS. I jump in the truck and try to get there.
Oh yeah, TomTom GPS.
Oh, okay, I remember that now. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Sending it to everybody, this link.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's even quite if it's like southeast of Silvery Moon, that's a fucking long ways away.
Yeah, that's like Silvery Moon was not near the coast either, if I recall.
No, Silvery Moon is way the fuck
west,
east
right?
into the Silver Marches or something like that.
Like look at like we're sailing down from the Alaskan coastline, down
Right.
through Washington and Oregon, and such like that. And it's like, by the way, and Everland's in the bluegrass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nowhere fucking near there.
No. So if you're ever there,
So we could just move and say
So,
that Everland is like just outside of Waterdeep or something like that.
well, do you know what? If you're basically, I guess that's all it was, though, right? If you think about it, it wasn't really a mission; it was a connection. If you're ever in Everland, go here.
Okay, yeah, well, I suppose we
So-
won't be in that.
Let's put it this way: depending on where you guys go, maybe you guys will move away from the coast,
Maybe.
and then you might be in Everland, right? I don't know.
Awesome.
So,
Ooh, here's a wiki.
event.
Continue. I'm just reading about
No,
everyone.
no, that's okay. That's okay because like, if you guys are still gonna stop at Neverwinter, that's kind of all I want to do. Like, or that's all I want to know. Like, just but because you guys literally, it was like not a big quest. It wasn't like a quest. Your main quest is, well, there isn't one.
To stay
You
alive.
guys are just, yeah, you guys are going down to Waterdeep. So if you guys want to stop at Neverwinter and like decide what to tell that contact,
Pretty much. Yeah, that's the only thing was that, hey, by the way, dude hasn't found the Weevil yet. Have a good day.
I find that so funny. The Weevil, once he kind of gets, like, you guys eventually get moving on your way.
Okay.
Whether by rowing, whether by oars, whatever. But it's, you guys have a lot, like I said before, I wanted to give myself an idea what your journey would be like. And if you remember, I was talking about rain. I rolled a lot of rain for you guys. Like, I mean, lots of rain. It was either a light rain or a heavy rain almost every day when I rolled.
Well,
and
at
I
least
even
we
ro-
have
and-
fresh water.
And I
Yeah.
and I even rolled day night. I thought I'm gonna roll because you guys are moving south. Climates change, right? It doesn't take far to travel, and you're in or out different weather. So I rolled twice a day, and practically everything I rolled was light rain, heavy rain, light rain, heavy rain, light rain, heavy rain. The good news is I rolled lots of average temperature. I think there was like one cold night and a couple warm nights or something like that, because again I rolled twice a day. And I rolled good wind, either light wind or strong wind. Lots of it. Very few was there calm. And again, there's enough people to row. Also, as I was rolling, although I rolled a lot of rain, light rain, heavy rain, I rolled a lot of wind, light wind, heavy wind. Fortunately, I did not roll heavy rain, heavy wind at the same time,
That's true.
which means a gale, which means you guys never encounter a gale. The weather is just pissy. It just pissy. It's just raining all the time. And I also rolled for occurrences, and there was no occurrences. The only thing that you guys would occur would be other merchant ships or others, fishing vessels or hunting vessels. But the captain keeps the distance enough, and with the smuggler's banner, it's called, out of Ghost of Saltmarsh, it looks friendly to everyone. So the day you guys stop at Neverwinter, and it's raining. Neverwinter has such a weird vibe about it, because things kind of look normal. It's got like wooden docks and wooden warehouses and wooden shops and wooden cottages, and there are like, the city is walled in, and architecture is from old to contemporary. You can see where there's lots of new construction being done. Although the place is overrun with humans, you can see a lot of other races. There's quite a bit of dwarves. And of course, Warvel, he says, "No, I'm not happy about this whole thing about you guys going there." You could tell he's nervous. He's pacing. He's like worried you guys are gonna like rat him out.
You don't have to worry about that. We already did it.
And there is people of all types, species of all types. And the thing is, although it almost looks very metropolitan, very whatever, it has such a weird vibe about it. Something about it is very negative. About Neverwinter. And if you guys, like, especially like you, Silence, you know Neverwinter has had like a terribly horrid past. Like even the main lord right now is like basically like, he used to be like open lord of Waterdeep, but he like shafted the city for and extorted a whole bunch of money and did a whole bunch of crooked stuff, and he basically ran away here. Now he's like lord of Neverwinter. Right? Like he was basically like a mafia guy who just left town and set up somewhere else, right? Like
Crooked, very crooked guy.
years ago, when the spell plague happened, like a century ago, a great chasm opened up in Neverwinter, and it was overrun by fiends and undead. Like the whole, there's a period of time where Neverwinter was abandoned. It's just people have always had ideas of like rebuilding it. And people rebuild it, and then all of a sudden a nearby volcano exploded like quite a few decades ago, and a lot of people left it, a lot of people died. And then when the Sundering happened, only years ago, like less than 10 years ago, they were able to like kill all the undead and like kill most of the undead. And seal up like the chasm, and Dagult Neverember moved here to become lord. So at least there's kind of a government and police, but it almost seems like at first an odd place where the Order of the Gauntlet would set up shop. However, the Order of the Gauntlet, you know, they are like clerics of justice and paladins and stuff like that. So, well, maybe it is the best place, right in the center of corruption and evil, and like basically it's not a nice town. It's not a nice town at all. You're more likely to get more people are running away from their past in Neverwinter than most places.
Nicodemus, this is a party town. It's built for you.
People are here to rebuild and start anew. Like you even see like drow elves as you guys are making your way. Like you see everything. You see like a couple hobgoblins in town. Like very seedy place, but there's like a pretense of normality. normalcy to it. But it just has a bad feeling to it. Like, eventually, you guys do go to the address where he told you to go. I gotta find my.
Along the way, Garl will stop and ask, well, not stop, but in passing, if they stop, they stop. Have you seen any frost giants? We're looking for more to kill. We are the mighty giant slayer troop. You have the mighty silence, death from above cloud, our merrymaker, Nicodemus, and soul saver through the grapes of justice. And you have the mighty arm of Garl, the giant slayer. And he'll tap his chest.
Who are you telling this to?
Whoever will listen as he's going on.
Well,
Just as usual, Steph.
there's a street merchant who's selling like a bunch of like rugs and clay pots and kind of household goods like that. He's wearing like a long fur coat down to his feet, and he's wearing like a fur hat. And you can see that like at his temples, you can see like where tattoos are peeking out under stubble on his head.
Oh, okay.
And he says, "Is that so?" And his hands are like, in the cuffs of each of his sleeves. And he's just, dressed in like I said, brown furs, brown skins, but he's selling like clay pots, furs, or baskets, rugs, just household shit. And he says, "Is it so? Tell me more, little one."
Well, I can only tell a rough, ugly, dark tale, but however, and he'll swing over to silence with his hands and say, this lovely voice of truth and honesty can tell a tale and sing a song like no other. She is our herald of heroics.
Oh, sure. Build me up like that, will you?
He raises an eyebrow, looks at you. He says, "Ah, a tiefling." He says, "I don't see many of them around here."
Well, if you're looking for a bard, I'm the one.
Music does me no pleasure. But
It'll do you no harm.
I am interested in your heritage.
What part of interested are we talking about here?
He pulls a hand out of his sleeve and shows you his palm, like, means you no offense. He says, "Your type only intrigues me. I only am curious as to your heritage. Are you fiend or devil? Or demon or devil?"
She's a fiendish devil. Isn't she just a cute little demon?
Hang on a minute. I put it down as infernal, so
Devil.
yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
What makes sense? Does
he
my
says,
hellish
"Well."
good looks give it away?
Oh, I don't like jokes either. What I am
Oh, well, to each his
interested
own.
what I am interested in is how you perform magic.
Looking to learn something, are you?
Yes. Do you burn someone's life essence, or do you sacrifice your own blood to your heritage? Or is it something more terrible?
Well, I'm afraid to say I haven't really been schooled in that. I kind of grew up an urchin, so I never really got any formal schooling. Well, not
And
any
he looks at
formal
you and he kind of
demon schooling.
he's actually moves your cloak and he's looking at. He's like, you must have a sacrificial dagger or something. How?
Well, if I had one, it got nicked years ago. As I said, urchin. Grew up without much.
Nick.
Ah, an urchin living on the streets, preying on the weak. I see. That's how you got your power.
Well, I like to say I learned how to be a smooth talker, storyteller, and a singer. But
Of
that's a form
course.
of power.
Of course, you're devil spawn. The word and contracts and bargains are what they're most greatest known for. Why, you would be so shrewd to bargain with.
Well, I'm afraid you're looking for someone who's pure demonic heritage. I'm afraid I can't really help you there.
Oh, I think you could. I think you could.
That's not
And he
sounding good.
subconsciously raises his hand and scratches his head, moving his fur hat. Where scratches his head where the stubble's growing in. And this fur hat moves, and you can see that part of like these tattoos are revealed on his scalp in black ink. And they're like clearly they're magical runes.
As he kind of gets bassier in his voice towards silence,
Yeah.
and goes reaching up with his hand up to his head and like that, Garl will quickly snap his short bow up to the ready and say to the little sneaky, deep-voiced, quandary-filled individual, "Hold it! She's mine. This
Yours?
is my fifth wife. You stay away from her."
Well, this is news to me.
Trying to protect you.
I get it, but still. I thought you were marrying a goblin.
I'm marrying them all. I've been brought up on we love the whole world and love the whole world and bring the whole world into love. What greater chore is there than that? And with marriage, the instrument of love.
Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't realize this about you earlier.
But he's just Garl's just trying to make sure that he doesn't try to kidnap our bard. He's not going to do anything to him until he takes an aggressive stance. He's just getting cautious with the change of tone in his voice to her and some of the questioning that was more intense than what he figured a normal conversation on the street would be.
He says, "I mean you no offense. I'm only intrigued," as he straightens his hat. And he says, "But please, to show you I meant you no offense, please take this gift." And he reaches into his robes and he pulls out a cloak pin.
A Coke pin?
Yeah. And it's like
what?
a golden pin about 4 inches long.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay.
About 4 inches long with a red jewel on the end. And he says, "But please know that is not a real ruby. It is only a crystal. It is ornamental only." 4-inch gold pin with a red ruby on it. And he hands it to you.
Is this a normal code pin, or is there something I should know about this?
Do you have a religion or a history?
She's a bard.
Hang on a minute. What did I school in?
You remember
Big
third
bard.
edition bardic knowledge?
Yeah, if nothing else, jack of all trades.
Yeah. Oh,
I got jack of all trades, yeah, but I know I put something down as notes, weapons, item efficiencies. No. Sure, I wrote it down here somewhere. Something about which I went to the College of Law. Would that help?
Oh
That
yeah,
was part of my background as a bard. I went to the College of Law.
So roll a die 20, add your proficiency bonus, and add your intelligence.
Okay, let's see. My intelligence is no plus on that. Proficiency bonus of 3.
3.
Okay, die 20. Ooh, that's a very good roll. I got 22.
You know that this is a symbol reminiscent of the scepter atop with the ruby that is wielded by the Grand Devil Osmodeus, whatever they call him.
Rock me.
Basically the leader of hell. And this is something like either like a follower of him would either, or would wear.
Rock me, Asmodeus.
This is something like basically
love that fucking
like
song.
it'd be basically like a guy person giving you like a pentagram or a Star of David or a Christian cross or a crescent, right?
Yeah.
It's a religious symbol, but the religion is that of like the great devil Osmodeus. Osmodeus, however they say it.
Ah. Well, I'll say, oh, thank you for the pen. It's very pretty. Just, I'm afraid the only deal I can make with you is teach you how to sing. And as he said, you're not very into singing.
And he says, "Take it for me causing you any offense to your husband." And he puts his hands into his robes and gives you a bow.
Well, thank you. I shall
You're
treasure
welcome.
this.
And he just is smiling at you, but the smile isn't in the eyes.
Okay, I think we should move on.
Yes. And as we move on, Darl will look up to her and say, next time when I'm trying to protect you from less than savory individuals, play along.
Never.
Don't be so naive.
Never.
So I gotta find.
Quick question. Is Cloud flying above us, keeping track of us from above, or is he walking with us?
I always picture him flying.
Well, yeah, but I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying that's why I forget, because I'm always picturing him.
Because his perceptions from ours on the ground will definitely be different.
Yeah.
Cloud is our predator drone.
Lan Ivor Strail. Sir
Huh?
Lan
What?
Ivor Strail. The connection. Sir Lan Ivor Strail.
Ah.
Part member of the Order of the Gauntlet. He was like who Beric said was his like upper.
Okay.
Lan Ivor Strail.
Hey, we should ask Mad Eye if he wants to deliver the news.
That's a cruel thing to do.
I could think it's kind of badass. I don't know. I do. It's like, yo, by the way, I got word that dude in Bryn Shander hasn't been able to find the Weevil yet. Just FYI, have a good day. Is there a
But he-
reward or anything
well,
for this
suddenly-
information?
Well, besides that, the best place to hide is in a crowd.
In plain sight, you know?
Yeah.
Because who would expect? I can disguise self, but I can't disguise non-self. I could polymorph him. Could I polymorph him into a?
Let me check and see. I think Garl.
No, it has to be a beast. It has to be a beast, right? Fuck, it has to be a beast.
Let's
Dang
see
it.
here. Garl.
I can polymorph. I can disguise self.
Thing is, would the contact notice? So would it be able to fool him?
We can even just give him like a pair of fucking sunglasses and put a hat on him or something, you know?
I was gonna say, if you can hide that mad gleam in his eye.
Yeah. Just give him a pair of sunglasses and a helmet.
We give him a blindfold and a cane.
There you go.
I might be a bit on the nose.
Yeah.
You guys are totally blown away when you realize
I got her disguise kit.
So do I.
So we got stuff we can disguise him with.
We can do
Hey.
double disguise.
I just rolled. You guys are blown away with the disguise kit, with like whatever accessories. At first he doesn't think it's a good idea at all. He thinks it.
That's
He,
right.
he in fact he even kind of gets to the point where you could see like he's wondering how many of you he could like take down and run away. And like he's seriously contemplating it. You guys have to like be like, no, like. He is not dumb. Like he has like high intelligence, high charisma, high wisdom. Like he has very good mentals, which is very surprising for an NPC thug, right? But he has very high mentals. He will go with it. And when you guys disguise him, you are blown away at how convincing he is. He has a high enough charisma to really pull it off well.
Great. We disguise him as a female dwarf.
They still have beards, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys just make him blonde.
Huh.
They're looking for a guy. They're
Because his
looking.
dark hair.
They're
His
looking.
dark hair is one of the characteristics that they'd be looking for. So you guys go totally opposite and make him blonde.
And they're looking for a guy, not a gal.
Right.
Salt and pepper look with some ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I rolled really well. He can do it very convincingly. So he's very nervous. He's very nervous, but he'll do it, and he's quite convincing at it. And when you guys all got to go with him. Part of the deal, right? It's just so it's not a trap, right?
Yeah.
And you guys go to like this. You guys like ask around, and you guys eventually are going to like this Sir Landover or whatever the fuck his name was already. Fuck, I wish I could see. It'd be so much easier. Take care of your eyes, people. Okay.
Garl will go with the ploy that when he goes on into Sir Landover, office
Yeah.
and talk to him. Sir Landover, my fourth wife has
you guys
my fourth wife has
are
a
actually
message for
directed.
you.
You guys are actually directed to like by like a Landiver.
Landiver. All right.
And you guys are directed to go outside. You guys are told he's around the backs, like this place where the Order of the Gauntlet has taken over is like near the edge, because like it looks like it used to be like a government building or something like that, but there's like a barn and a big courtyard and stuff like that, and you're told that like he's outside with the horses. So to just go around out back and you'll find him. And you guys do go outside around the back. It is a lot of cobblestone, and it breaks off into the earth where you come to like around the corner of the barn, and you can see there's fence and railing, and there's like a overhang just to keep out of the shade or the rain that there is today, but it's outdoors. It's just like an overhang, and
Okay.
there's some tack and harness and ropes and stuff like that. And there is a man. There is a horse under there with a man brushing, like grooming it down, and you can see like he's wearing like a cloak over his armor. And he hears you guys coming around the corner, and he just looks over, smiles, as he's grooming his horse. He just watches you guys approach to a point, and then he just doesn't even really stop grooming the horse. He's still like watching you guys approach, and he says, "Well, Matt," as he's like still grooming the neck and shoulders of this big war horse. And he says, "Is there something I can help you with?" He seems friendly enough.
My fourth,
Human, short hair.
my fourth wife has a message that she's been entrusted for you to give to you. She wouldn't even give it to me in our bed of marital bliss. She's been so honest about it.
Well, that makes him stop brushing the horse, and and he kind of pats it on its nose as he ducks under its jaw, its chin, and kind of comes around to the side of you guys. He still has like the horse brush on his one hand, and he's like, "A message?"
Yes, my fourth wife, Wilhelmina.
And he looks over at Silence. He says,
Shouldn't have let him pick out his own name. That's all I'm saying.
"Hi, I'm oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm Landiver, something or fucking other." Landiver Strail, he says, and he like pulls the brush off his hand and extends it for a handshake.
To me, right?
Landiver, he says, "I'm Landiver Strail." He says, and you can see like he clearly has emblazoned on a tabard over his armor that it has like a gauntlet emblazoned on it. Cloud, you see, like you're like when like you and your friends leave the ship, you kind of take to the air. You're flying around and kind of checking out the city, and you fly up high, you fly down low, you fly around fast, you fly around slow. But Neverwinter even has like a weird feeling even from the sky. In fact, if you fly high enough, your bird brain kind of even thinks like, huh. You know, most cities, like human cities, kind of just, you can kind of see how they naturally evolved. Well, because Neverwinter has been like destroyed, rebuilt, and destroyed, rebuilt, and magically disappeared and reappeared, and just shit's happened to it all over, that it almost looks like it was made more by strokes of a pen. It almost looks like that up from above, that it almost looks like the outline and everything of like a sigil. It almost looks like magical, like writing that you would see on a scroll or something. That's what it reminds you of. Just because of the way the neighborhoods and the streets and the rebuilding, that all of Neverwinter just has this really odd look. It just reminds your bird brain of something written down on a scroll. And you kind of notice that when you notice like your friends have turned off of a main street and they've gone to an area where you can see it looks like they're heading directly to a barn. And you're like, oh, there's a barn there. I'm going. And as you guys are just talking there, that's where basically Cloud either lands on the building or lands on the lean-to or something, so that you're in the same area adjacent. You notice that there's horses. And this guy, Ladover, he's not the only guy with a horse right. It's kind of raining right now, but there are other people out here exercising and horses and warming up horses and grooming horses and
Horse.
yeah, horsing around, right? Just a bunch of people horsing around. So a lot of people kind of like, look startled, like especially when like the Aarakocra just suddenly comes, because I imagine they'd have a 12-foot wingspan or more, just massive. So everyone kind of looks, but no one really freaks out because you're talking to this Landiver, and he says, what's the message? And you can see he looks at you, and he's got like the kind of crew cut military haircut with the crow's feet at the corners of his eyes. And he says, what's the message? He's a squat guy.
So wait, is he
Short
talking to
but
me?
wide. Well, yeah.
I say to him, sorry, I'm only the third wife. We're divorced.
Oh,
Fifth.
sorry to hear
Fifth.
about that. Always sorry to hear about young lovers falling apart.
The first.
Oh, you're a complicated bunch. He says, well, maybe we should discuss this over some lunch or something. And he calls over basically what are they called? Like basically a squire. And he says, like, take Lightning here and put him back in the stall, and give some other orders about what to do with the horse. And the young boy does. He says, come with me. He says, we'll go to the feast hall and we'll discuss this over something warm to eat and something to drink. And you guys walk across like the courtyard, out of the fence, down a ways under another kind of like awning part, but that's attached to like a people building this time. And you walk along under there, and it's dry. And he says, so have you all traveled far?
Yeah. Like, we went all the way from Nightstone to 10 Towns. There, friend Chander met somebody. She did. And then we made our way down from 10 Towns after defeating the Frost Giant raiding party led by their Queen Troopy, of which I personally slain. Have you heard that story?
He's very proud of it.
Not that one.
Well, which ones have you heard about us?
Well, about you all in particular. Nothing. This is the first news I've had for about Bryn Shander in quite some time.
Oh, well,
It's
we
good
do
to-
travel fast. The news will
You
be
guys,
here.
he opens the doors. You walk in, you can smell like cooking meats and broths and
Been down to the spine of the
potato
world.
soups. It's warm.
Ever meet or ever
Hmm.
freak or ever, I don't know, whatever the name of that
Fu-
dwarf town was.
Fire shear,
Here,
Luskin, yeah.
Luskin. We prevented, what was it, in Fire Shear, we drove off another frost giant thing, blew up a whole warehouse full of smoke powder. Killed a bunch of them. We caught
Port
a tree.
last.
Yeah.
Huh.
Then we went down Luskin and we drove off some frost giant raiders from that, had them chase us out to sea. And yeah, now we're here.
You walk into like this big banquet room, dining room, big tables, benches, and as soon as he walks in, you see people. He just says,
Lamped around us there.
he says, oh
The
yeah,
banquet hall.
he says, we have guests. He says, let's get them food and drink. Let's warm them up. He says, I have guests. And everyone does. Some people scramble.
Garl pull out the medal that we got from Brashander to show
Oh, yeah.
him. So it sells, working on selling this. They're using every ounce of his charlatan background to do it.
Well,
But it's not. It's real. We did do this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the best. That's one of the best schemes is when at least half of it or most of it's real, but the important stuff has changed.
And
But I did kill Trookie.
Warvel,
You two are going to argue about that forever.
Warvel in his disguise hasn't said much. And Serac has decided to come along too, just because. Why not?
Okay.
He may as well.
He's
not going to hang out on the ship with a bunch of pirates he doesn't know. Especially when you guys take Warvel. He's like, well, I'm staying here alone.
And the frost giants are always coming from the fucking, ocean. And
Yeah,
they're fucking
yeah.
ships. Let's get away from the docks.
Yeah, so he comes as well. Warvel's doing a really good job at like looking calm and looking like you wouldn't even notice. You guys almost forgot about him entirely.
He's a good actor.
And you guys there's like people even come and offer to take your cloaks to dry off and stuff. And you guys are guests of this guy, so they don't really know. So all the lackeys are just the people who keep house here, right? Like the people who serve, the people who cook, the people who clean, right? As a main outpost of the Order of the Gauntlet, and you can see that there are gauntlet symbols emblazoned here and there on things, but it's quite sparse. It's Spartan. It's not lavish. It's just very militaristic. Everything, it's almost like a military barracks. In fact, that's what you would think that this was. It probably was like a military barracks or a city watch barracks or something that was taken over by the Order of the Gauntlet. So they're living here too and having religious stuff here too. But you guys eventually get food and get drink, Nicodemus, and even Cloud. People they're like, is there anything in particular? Like the one woman, serving woman, she's like, I have never talked to an Aarakocra. She's like, do you eat what we eat? Or do you need bird seed? Or
worms?
Or worms? Or
the biggest, fattest worm you can find from my fellow Cloud here.
Oh, the purple worm delight.
Well, see what we could do about worms, and you can see she's walking away, contemplating with her.
Move some of the manure around and see whatever you find underneath that. He'll love it.
Okay, maybe I'll go to the bait shop. She walks away, like tapping her lower lip with the tip of her finger, thinking. And he's like, well, he holds out his hands. He says, you have a message? And he smiles, warm enough. He's like, I hope this wasn't just a ploy to get a free meal.
All praise Cauldron Smooth Hands, for he does provide for us in our glory.
He cheers you. So seriously, is there like a message? And Warvel, he just...
Come on, hon, give him the message. It was given to you.
We have a message from Sir Barrick Millith. And he says he ain't able to be finding the weevil, and it might be some time yet he's gonna spend up there looking. But just to let you all know, he's doing okay. He
Are there any women in attendance?
and well, that he's been thinking of you, and have a nice day. The end. P.S. The Giants are up to no good.
We can definitely vouch for that last bit. There's definitely big trouble with giants.
And he Warvel says, just nods just vehemently, right? Like, the Giants. And he says,
we had giant trouble coming down here.
And he points on his own chest where some of you have your medals pinned, and he's like, that's why you were awarded those?
For saving Bryn Shander from the attack. It was my mighty arms. See, that's why I have so many wives. And mighty bow that slowed them down and saved the day. My compatriots stood the line as heroes of any gnomish community would.
It's almost getting ridiculous the number of times we have to fight ice giants.
He says, word has been coming up and down the coast of frost giants raiding coastal cities, mostly for food and wine.
Any reports of frost giants being repelled by heroes such as us?
Well, we had word from Luskin that they destroyed a ship.
Yeah, they did that before we got there, unfortunately. Yeah, that's true. We didn't have anything to do with that one. Besides, we showed up at the end. Maybe the frost giants just gave up and surrendered, knowing that we were coming.
He says, I could tell by your medals. He says, I believe you about Bryn Shander, but that's quite the ways north. He says, even Port Last. He says, I personally haven't talked to anyone from Port Last in the past, while. So he says, word specifically, but he says, from farther inland, he says, it's not just the frost giants. He says, the whole Desert Valley. He says there's been stone giants and frost giant sightings. He says even fire giants. And he says there's more flying castle sightings than ever.
Dear,
he says we even saw one 3 days ago moving south
Oh, good, something for my mighty bow and arms to take down.
Let's take a break first. We only just escaped the last bunch of ice giants.
And Darrell just chuckle, a mighty warrior chuckle. Oh.
He says, the order knows that the rules of the ordering have been dismantled, and that giants all over the place are vying for power. And how much of this is true, or none of us have been able to verify this, but you people have more first-hand knowledge than I think most would have. Traveling down the coast? He says, I appreciate everything you have done, from delivering this message to protecting the Sword Coast and protecting the people. And he reaches over to the chair where he's placed his cloak. He grabs it, stands up, shakes it, gives it a quick fold, and he places it somewhat reverently on the table in amongst you all, and he sits down as he picks up his spoon and begins his stew and bread again. And he motions and he says, I live pretty frugal here. He says, that's all I have worth anything, but you're welcome to take it. Hopefully it'll help you all.
Well,
he says, you're all doing a good thing.
Instead of taking your cloak, sir,
I want to do a quick look around. Anything cool?
What might help us more than even that is
the cloak is pretty nice.
Is a letter of introduction that we can give with your seal and signature there, so others would know that we stand in good repair with the powers of good.
He kind of chuckles. He says, I can write you a letter. He says, who it will have any importance to, I know not, but I will.
Well, if we come up against another follower of your order, it definitely might get us a warm, dry place to lay our heads. And for me to take care of all my wives, it does take a lot to feed such mouths. And like that,
he laughs.
And and a letter like that to the authorities of the villages and the towns may go ahead and slow distrust, knowing that such a order as yours stands behind every action we take.
He says, I will give you a letter of recommendation if you think it'll help you. But he says,
yes.
Please. He says, please, I insist, take my cloak. It's all I have. He says, it is a magical cloak of protection. He says, may it protect all y'all, or one of y'all, in your efforts at thwarting.
Are you sure you're going to be
enemies.
okay? I mean, this is a cold place.
I have mundane cloaks to keep me warm. Their magic is only to keep me warm. Ha ha. No, they're just mundane cloaks. But seriously, take it. The adventure says he gives it to you. Take it.
Okay.
If you insist.
Well,
I
Nina,
insist.
give them a proper reward, a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, and he says, again, to like a squire. You can't tell if it's a squire or a servant or whatever, but a younger person. He says, fetch me some parchment, ink, a quill, and he says, and perhaps a good case for it, so it remains safe. Oh, and sealing wax. And a candle. Never mind, there's a candle here. And he says, like, you know, he got that cloak from what you call it? There's a bunch of basilisks in like before, when the city was opened up, the chasm was there. There, some of the basement levels had, you know, become kind of monster infested, as most of the city. And he says, and he cleared out some basilisks, and there was like an adventurer there. Well, he assumes an adventurer who was like petrified, everything but the cloak. He took the cloak off the petrified after he killed the basilisk. He's like, so. He's like, I found it anyways. He says, so please, you take it. Monetary wealth is not really a priority or a value of the followers of the order. It's been useful, but I'm not doing so much adventuring anymore, so please, you all take it. And he eventually, they come with the parchment, and he writes you a letter of recommendation. And they put it in nice, you know, seal it with like some like red wax, and his ring with like a little gauntleted fist on it. And they put it in like a leather kind of wallet case, tie it up, places it on the table, and he says, if my letter of recommendation will do you any good, you know, you're welcome to use it. And Warvel actually reaches out and picks it up.
Hold on, Wilhelmina. Let me keep that for safekeeping.
Oh, he hands it to you.
I know your delicate hands and your delicate condition, and Garl will emphasize condition. We don't want things to happen to this by misfortune.
I'm not gonna kiss you for it.
And she hands it to you.
All right.
Women present at this stoning.
What?
Monty Python Life of Brian reference.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, so he gives you a +1 cloak. You guys deliver the message. He gives you a letter of recommendation. Eventually, you guys decide you should head back to the ship. And when you guys are all walking back to the ship, you know, the rain is kind of stopped right now. It's not really raining. You guys had a good meal. You're kind of tired now. It was nice to be indoors. And you guys are like making your way through the city. Cloud, I don't know if you want to walk with your companions back, or if you want to fly, or what, or share anything that you felt about the city, or
How was your
vice
worm?
versa. Oh yeah, your worm. They never did get you worm, but they did bring you like fruit and fish. The fruit was dried fruit, but the fish was like sardines or silverlings, or you know what I mean, like.
In mustard and Tabasco sauce.
There's a masquerade ball
Sure, yeah, that sounds good.
Boone Tavern on January 11th. What the hell? Sorry, shut up.
Ted,
That's all right. That's all right. Interesting. I kind of want to go.
so who should we give the cloak to? Garl will speak up. Cloud, Silence, Nicodemus.
I mean, everybody wants it. Everybody could use it, but
Garl doesn't care.
meta here. Yeah, you might be a little meta in the description of this discussion.
No, I don't care. I don't mind some meta at all, especially if it's useful, right? Like I'm not a fucking stay in character. I'll spank you on your penis or anything. Not at all.
Oh, snap.
Who's our tank? Do we have a tank? Because the tank should get it, right? +1 armor class and saves should be our tank. Who's our tank?
I think you.
I don't know. At
Far Eye was like around.
Well, yeah, but
at times, Cloud is.
Right.
Is Far Eye ever going to play like a tank?
We don't have a
could do
tank.
Job, huh?
In
We don't have
Brashander
a
and
tank.
like
This is
that,
such-
Cloud's
this is such
been a tank for us.
This
Yeah,
is such an odd little party.
Yeah.
Like it really is, right? Like from the very beginning, I noticed that. I was like, oh, this is like a really odd. Not just the fact that there's like tieflings and an Aarakocra and a Snerverblin and a Satyr, but just even like
They all come into
the
the box.
classes, the classes, right? Like a ranged ranger, lore bard, a trickster cleric, right? Like a druid. Like yeah, it was, and then whatever Ryan was.
Tempest Cleric.
Yeah, Tempest Cleric.
But yeah, Cloud could do a tank, pretty well. He could.
Animal form, yeah, beast forms, but isn't he? But is he land or moon? I think he's moon.
He's moon. He's moon.
Yeah, he's moon. Yeah, he would be the closest thing to a tank.
What say you?
I bet he's got
Cloud?
what's your armor class, Cloud? Probably not great. You should just take it.
And it would function also in bear form or whatever, so you get that.
And not only that, it's pretty. Like it's nice. It's like
holes in the wind already when
it's like
blow-
a brown red, but nice, but done nicely. Like it's like a deep red. It's like an Indian red. It's like
Burgundy, wine,
well, I was gonna say
maroon.
I was gonna say
Blood.
wine, magenta.
Alex, you around or because you're muted?
I don't think so. After I made that worm thing and he didn't answer it, I don't think so.
But Gall doesn't. Gall doesn't really want it. He'll make say things that it's too long for him. He'll trip over it and this or that.
But my armor class is good. It's 18, which is, not bad.
I mean, Garl's is a 16, but there again for
Range guy. I mean,
that's not bad for his position in our tactical layout.
Yeah.
That's why I say he doesn't really. I don't think he needs it as much as some other party members need it.
What's Silence's armor class?
Sorry, I'm what?
What's your armor class?
Armor class. Pretty weak, I think.
It's probably the weakest
No,
of the
give me a
bunch.
minute. Where's my? I've got light armor.
let's say you got studded leather. That's 12. What's your dexterity?
My dexterity. Hang on. 14 with a +2.
Okay, that would give you a 14 armor class too. You see anywhere on your character sheet where it says armor class, it would be 14.
I see. Yeah.
And do you have a shield?
No, she don't have a
Shield? No, I don't have a shield. I just have armor.
Okay.
I have
Or
a
bar.
rapier.
Yeah, it's just that in the AC calculation, if you had a shield, it'd be +2.
Lord Bard. So
It
only
would-
the whatchamacallit, the other one, the Valor Bard, they get shield usage.
yeah. So it's just
Okay, so I mean, we could either she could take it, and it could. I mean, her already weak armor class could be a better weak armor class of 15. I mean, yeah. My thing is Cloud or Far Eye.
and that's kind of where I was sitting was with the rest of you guys. That really not knowing your armor classes, but knowing where in the history of us playing so far, where you guys have put yourself in harm's way in where it could help you guys more so than Garl. I mean, Far Eye, when he was here, he was jumping in and battling toe to toe, so to say. Got knocked down. Nicodemus, you've done about the same. I know in Brashander, Cloud was up there battling Hardy like a tank, and there's been a couple times where Silence has been right up in the fray to boot. So, but Wilhelmina, the weasel, she don't get it.
We can give it to Wilhelmina.
No, we don't need to give that no good fourth wife anything. We just bought him a whole lot of breathing room. But let's march on, and we'll discuss this along the march or back on the ship or on the cart as we travel the roads, whatever the need be.
There is a road from Waterdeep that heads to Everland. It's pretty far, but there's a road that goes from Waterdeep to Everland.
And we're in what, Neverwinter right now, right?
Which is pretty much east of Neverwinter, but there's no road. You know, it may be shorter distance, but there's no road. I mean, I suppose eventually we could head east across country and, you know, hit the road eventually.
And hopefully not get lost. And
I hope you don't get lost, Ranger boy.
Hey, there's always possibility.
Okay.
If someone throws some magic out there or things like that, but no, I wouldn't hope I'd get too lost. But there's that. Our traveling speed might be slower because we got to break trail. So we probably end up getting there in about similar times, maybe.
I think it would be a sign of trust to the Weevil if we give the cloak to the Weevil.
No.
Why are you so opposed to this?
Say what?
Why are you so opposed to this?
I don't trust the Weevil.
And the Weevil, therefore, does not trust you or us.
That's all right. But we earned his trust enough by buying him so much breathing room from the officials. They're still looking for him way north while we got him passing down through into the southern portions, the warmer climes. That's a big trust connection there. And to be honest, meta-wise, something like that in the module probably is more intended for to help the player characters than it is to help an NPC.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Obviously.
That's the other that's really more myself, my personal reason for it, but playing it out in character is the other that I've given. So what are we up to?
I say we give it to either Far Eye or Cloud, whichever one of them speaks up first. And head back to the ship and set sail for Waterdeep.
Okay.
That sounds like a good idea.
Sounds good enough. Hand it. Why don't we hand it to Silence to carry for the moment?
Okay, until they've made up their minds.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so we head back out, set sail, maybe pick up some supplies. I don't know of anything in particular that we need.
Only thing is Garl would want to pick up some extra arrows, and then spend some time uh, looking at this letter of introduction and trying to copy the.
You have a forger's kit.
Yes, I do. What good charlatan doesn't? And copy and try to copy the. He'll be while on ship if he isn't doing much of anything. Working on copying the signature of the Lord and copying and the seal.
Was he really a lord, though?
I don't know. Don't care.
Fair enough. He is now, right? When you sign it, it'll be Lord this guy.
He's part of the order, so we'd be able to make all kinds of. If I can get that down, we'll be able to make all kinds of papers in the name of the order. What say you, Roland?
He's probably reading something at the moment.
Oh, probably.
That's likely.
How's that?
We can hear you.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
we can.
No, I was talking. I had to unplug my headset and plug it back in. Okay. I went for a bio. I thought you guys knew that. But anyways, doesn't matter. You guys were talking about I heard you guys talking about like trust and the weevil.
Yeah.
I came in, you guys were talking about counterfeiting the stuff to make official Order of the Gauntlet papers.
Yes. We have decided to get back on the boat and head south to Waterdeep. We're going to give the cloak to Far Eye or Cloud, whichever one of them says something first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I heard that part. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to stop and get some arrows or
Oh, you can buy arrows before you
oh.
leave Neverwinter. It's like a real city. You can buy anywhere in the market, or even you can replenish arrows, just whatever it is. What is it? I think it's a gold piece for 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's standard player's handbook stuff in a city. You can totally grab that before you go. The rain has like totally stopped right now. When you guys are boarding the ship, there are other people doing things, taking advantage. You guys aren't leaving immediately. You guys stopped at port. They're stopping for like a few hours, but there's stuff to do. You guys can hit taverns. You can. Far Eye will go to a temple. They don't have a temple of his god, but they do have a storm god temple. And he just says, that's like, it's just like basically those followers are wrong, right? They think that god is named Umberlee. Well, that's actually my god, right? It's just a different name. He's kind of smug. Kind of smug, right? They just got the wrong name for the different name. Whatever. Storm god temple.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter to Far Eye. It's all the same being or domain, right? So he does go there because like I said, the pirate dudes want to do things. They do stock up on barrels. You think like not all of them just go get partied up or get prostitutes. A lot of them do actually like refill provisions. You can see that the captain out there makes some bargains that you guys do buy more rocks for the mangonel in case you need. Right? Like more ammunition.
Yeah.
Eventually you guys leave. It's almost nighttime, but you guys leave anyways. You guys just leave. This is quite a long stretch. All the way from Neverwinter to Waterdeep. Again, I said that there was like lots of rain. Again, there is lots of rain. I rolled rain for you guys. Majority of the time, there is rain. Twice a day. Light rain, heavy rain. Light wind, heavy wind. Never a gale. Never an obstruction or an occurrence or anything foul. Just ships, other ships, but they increase in frequency as you get closer to Waterdeep. Not that there's like a big traffic line of them, but you just see them more often. You might see small ships, big ships. You guys are lucky enough to not ever see a frost giant ship. You guys do not. The only time that you guys would have encountered pirates, you guys don't even notice because they think you're one of them.
We are one of them.
Well, yeah, like they just nothing. You guys don't have any bad occurrences, but which isn't like unusual because you guys are on a main shipping lane, right? Up and down that Sword Coast, so If you're out in the middle of the sea, it might be different, but you guys are lucky enough where nothing foul happens. The stretch from Neverwinter to Waterdeep is long because you guys don't have any more stops. It only takes you about 5 more days. But those 5 days are uninterrupted by sea and cliffs. Those cliffs are just... One time you guys see a couple of really big looking birds, but they don't come close enough to be a threat, and hopefully no one provokes them. They don't decide to attack a ship. You guys aren't close enough for them to feel like that they're going to attack. You guys see some other odd things in the water and in the sky, but nothing like, you know what I mean?
Wow, what do you
Like Garl's up on the mast. Like Garl at one point, he sees this big dark shape, and he's but it never breaks the surface and it goes away. And the rest of your shipmates at sea level don't even notice. You're the only one who notices it up on the mast.
Garl gets ready to say and then stops.
Yeah, it just eventually you guys get to where there are boats. Like now it's dotted everywhere. It's like a fucking Great Lakes Canal on July the 4th weekend. It's just boats everywhere.
How many days have we been traveling?
In total?
I mean, since
since
Neverwinter.
Yeah, since Neverwinter, 5 days.
5 days. Okay. Ready? Because during that 5 days, I'd like to. I don't know how much time it would take me to make a letter of introduction for each of us. Make forging the signature and the seal.
Oh, you could make at least one a day, I would figure.
Okay,
So you'd be able to do it. Did you want to make a roll of some kind, or do you want to roll when the people are looking at it? Let's do that.
That's up to you, but yeah.
I think we'll do that.
Okay. But he'll make them up, and as he gets each one done, he'll give them to one to Silence, one to Nicodemus, one to if Far Eye's there, Far Eye, and one to Cloud, and he'll give one to the Weasel.
Okay. What do they say on them, though?
The one, the ones to my party members will say, "These are special agents from the Order of the Hand. Don't interfere. They're on a special mission." And keep it hush hush. And on the weasel, on the weasels.
Mm-hmm. It'll say, "I am the Weevil. Please put me in jail."
Well, hold on. It may virtually say something like that, but I'm okay, yeah. And the intent will be basically that, Roland.
Okay.
Saying there, but
yep.
but Garl.
Maybe not so blatantly.
Well, it could be. It could be that blatant.
It's just a wanted poster of him.
Say what?
It's just a wanted poster.
Nah, we'll write that on up. So whoever has that one might be in trouble. But Garl will write that in Gnomish, though.
So, okay, you can do that.
like I said, we'll roll when it comes down to it, rather than having to remember numbers. We'll do it then, because I think if someone reads it, then we'll roll then to see if they
Yeah.
believe it or not. We'll do an opposed thing or something.
Yep.
You guys are noticing that, like, all these ships, and I mean ships, like, holy fuck. And you guys are approaching, and you can see that there's even constructions like big water walls, big sea breaks. And you can see where these cliffs that you've been just staring at for days now, although the cliffs are still there, they have been greatly carved into steps and tiers and ramps. And there is, like, basically atop of the cliffs is the walled city of Waterdeep, and it just pours down like these tiers and steps and cliffs and everything that's been carved in throughout time into, like, this, where there's, like, this natural bay, part of a bay, and there's seawalls, and there's massive towered walls. And even from your view on the ship, you can see where people are lined up at the roadways to enter and exit the city. Like, you can see that even from your ship, just there's, like, you could see that, like, looking over this part of the city and out, you can see that there is a great statue of a Sahuagin made out of
Holy shit.
stone that looks out over the city, or looks out over the harbor. And you could see that, like, way in the center of the city, rising above and out of it, is a mountain with, like, the city, like, with buildings and roadways and pathways up this mountain. Top of the mountain, there's a castle with many spires and many flags and many pennants. And it looks tiny from this perspective, but it must be massive for the fact that you can still see it, that there appears to be, like, a stone statue of a griffin way up there.
Gryffindor.
Massive. And there are fucking ships everywhere, and there are, like, normal, like, there are, like, small one mast, and there are, like, long boats and long ships and sailing ships and two mast ships and three mast ships, and then there's, like, weird square sailed Asian junks, and there's ships moving that have no sails. A ship goes by that actually has, like, a steam chimney and paddle wheels going by. And there are rowboats, and there are canoes, and there are ships of all types, and they're great fucking galleys full of people. They're great fucking galleys full of cargo being loaded by these giant fucking, like, cranes that, like you can see, like, with massive ropes, the thickness of, like, a man's waist, that wind on these massive pulleys, being pulled by, some of them being pulled by draft horses, some of them being pulled by no apparent means at all. There's, like, these cranes unloading these ships, and there's like you get into an area of the harbor where there are, like, wharfs and slips, and there are yachts, and there's, like, you guys can see, like, in the middle of this harbor area, that there are 3 gaily clad sailing ships, like, with their sails are, like, folded down and they're anchored, but you can see they're brightly colored. Even the bows are brightly colored and painted. And aboard the ships, as you go by, you can see that there's, like, jugglers and acrobats and knife throwers and stuff practicing. Looks like they're practicing. It looks like they're all just barefoot in, like, light clothing practicing. And the painted on the sides of the ships are the Heartbreaker and the Eye Catcher and the Soul Taker. I don't remember. And
Carl will say to his compatriots, "Look at this. They've all heard of our exploits of glory, and they've come to go ahead and celebrate us and our glory and give us riches."
And where you guys are, even though the time of year, because it's, like,
at this latitude, it'd be like back to school days, right? It's like October, beginning of October. It's still quite nice here, especially on the coast. It's like Vancouver temperature, quite mild right now. But you could see the harbor is fucking busy. Everybody is getting business done before winter sets in. Waterdeep right now is at its peak. And you guys eventually pull into the docks and the wharfs, and there's like yelling and talking with like guys in like little rowboats that have whistles, and they like point and direct the other boats and things, and you gotta, and they gotta wait for their turn, and they gotta yield to other ships coming by, and eventually you guys get into a wharf and into a slip, and as soon as they're pulling up, guys on the wharf throw off lines and guys catch them on the boat and pull you in, pull it in, tie it up, pull in the oars, pull down the sail, and you guys can disembark. And you guys are once again on mainland. Well, on a wharf in the city of Waterdeep. And like it's not like a narrow dock, right? Like this is like a fucking 20, like you guys are in a long ship, right? So picture being a long ship. You guys actually have to get out by like climbing up onto ladders and getting onto a platform and going up like a little stairway, right? Like this thing could take like a galley to like pull alongside, but you guys are in a long ship. So you guys actually have to climb up to get up to the wharf and the dock. And you guys get up there and there's people all over, and there's doing commerce. Whether there just be changes of coins right there, or people are unloading crates or loading crates, you see some things just are getting tossed from one ship to another, like literally, like they're 10, 15 feet apart. People are just tossing crates from one ship to the other. Some other guys are yelling in a weird fucking language, and such a hustle bustle here. And you can smell it. You catch a whiff of like human feces, and then the wind changes a little bit. You get to smell of really delicious food, and then the wave comes, and you smell dead fish. And everyone gets onto the dock. You guys are kind of like, well, getting your sea legs, right? You guys all feel pretty fucking wobbly. Just spent like the last 5 days back and forth. And you guys can hear real body music, real body violin music. Sounds a lot like Cripple Creek.
And
Well, it does now.
Carl will say, see, they already start to sing our praises, but they're not anywhere near as good as you, Silence.
And you can hear the people. It is like twilight, and it's just a little drizzle, just a little one, but you could smell food and you could heat, and you guys could see that there is like a shitty little tavern, but the first tavern that you have seen. It's just a shitty little tavern right on the docks. Like it's like on a wharf. Like it looks like it used to be like an old warehouse or something like that, but they like cut windows into it. It turned it into like, it's probably got like sawhorses and planks for tables, right? But you can hear ding, ding, ding. It is fucking just rocking fucking violin music coming out of there, and people stomping their feet and we'll stop right there. We will pick up yeah. Well, I'm totally picturing Cripple Creek is what's in my head now. Ding 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 ding. Anyways, okay, we'll end there. We will
Okay.
resume. We will resume in the new year.
All
Because
right.
next week already is
Okay.
Christmas Eve. And then week after that is New Year's Eve, and I'm away with the band that day. So
Uh-huh.
Well, don't play too hard, don't party too hard, but enjoy life.
oh, do you know what? I'm gonna behave myself on Christmas, and I think I'm just gonna be a fucking badass on New Year's Eve.
That's a good idea.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Pat. Yeah, but you're on the golf though. Golf is beautiful, man. No, the golf. Yeah,
With a U, not an
it's
O.
it's beautiful.